Hey guys, Andy here, and today we have our Barbie video for today. We are going to do a review and timeline of the Barbie movie, and we're going to do this look together. It's my little more goth Barbie look. So if you want to hear all of my thoughts about the movie and the entire timeline of Barbie and Ken, then just stay tuned. I will give this warning here. Spoilers. If you have not seen the Barbie movie and you do not want spoilers, do not watch this video because I'm going to be talking all about the movie. But if you've seen the movie or don't care about spoilers and want to hear my thoughts on it, then just continue to watch the video. Everything I'm wearing will be listed in the description box. So as always, if you like makeup unboxings with a little bit of horror sprinkled in, please consider subscribing because I would love to have you here. And let's just go ahead and get into today's video. Alright, so I will do my best to tell you guys the products that I'm using, but if I don't, of course you know they will be listed in the description box because this is going to be a very long review of the movie because it's going to be a review and timeline. So I am going to get started with my Morphe and Jeffreestar. It's a lip gloss in the shade First Impressions, just to hydrate my lips before we do anything. So this is the Barbie movie, which came out this year, 2023, obviously. And it has an IMDb rating of 7.5 out of 10. And the storyline is actually pretty short. It just says Barbie suffers a crisis that leads her to question her world and her existence. Pretty short, sweet, and to the point there. For primer, I'm going in with the Complex Culture Anti-Pollution Blurring Primer. This is almost done, so I'm just trying to use this guy up. And we're just going to move right on into trivia, which there's actually quite some interesting trivia regarding this movie. So, according to Ryan Gosling, he accepted the role of Ken after seeing his daughter's Ken doll lying face down in the mud next to a squished lemon. He then took a shot, like a photo of the doll and lemon, and sent it to Greta Gerwig, who's the director of Barbie, saying, I quote, "I shall be your Ken, his story must be told." So I find that that's super interesting. Now I was born in 1994, so I definitely was a Barbie kid. I did move on to Bratz dolls when they came out, so I definitely preferred Bratz over Barbies. They had better fashion, in my opinion. But I was a Barbie kid, but I don't know. I never took my Barbies outside. Like, Barbies and Bratz were an inside toy. So I'm just going to let my primer sink in for a moment. Composer Mark Ronson wrote the song I'm Just Ken largely as a joke and recorded a demo for Greta Gerwig, not seriously expecting it to be included in the soundtrack. However, she liked the song, and when she shared it with Ryan Gosling, he felt so strongly that it added to the character of Ken that he successfully advocated it for it to be made a musical number in the film. Ronson remarked that he was amazed at how much Gosling's interpretation of the song improved upon his original intent. So I think that's really neat, because, like, the song is pretty good. But for foundation, I'm going to go in, I do 2 pumps of my Synchro Skin from Shiseido. I have mine in the shade Opal, and I do 2 pumps of my Yensa Super Serum Silk Foundation in the shade Light Medium. Margot Robbie had one request for director Greta Gerwig, and she wanted a slide from Barbie's dream house that would go from her bedroom down to the swimming pool. So that was her one request, which she did get that. So I start out with one pump, and then I'll go in and do a second. Michael Cera plays Alan in the film, and there is only one Alan, who is Ken's best friend, introduced in 1964. His girlfriend turned wife, Midge, also appears in the film, played by Emerald Fennell. Both characters were canonically married in 1990 with the wedding day Midge dolls. See, I never had any other dolls. I didn't have any Ken dolls. I didn't have any of the spin-off Barbies. I just had normal, blonde, regular Barbies. Unfortunately. I ended up, I think, getting a Ken doll or two eventually, but nope. And that concludes our trivia. So we're going to move into the timeline, and I will be adding in photos here to go along with the trivia so you can see the Barbies that I will be mentioning. Just get these pumps of foundation on here. But before we get into trivia, I wanted to tell you, if you didn't know, Barbie's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts. Because I didn't know Barbie, like I knew her name was Barbara Roberts. I didn't know her middle name, so that was news to me. And then her hometown, like fictionally, is Willows, Wisconsin. So I thought that was super interesting. And so now we have timeline. The original Barbie was created March 9th, 1959. So, and that was by Ruth. And she created Barbie in likeness of her daughter, Barbara. Which is so sweet. Like, she wanted, if you've seen the movie, like, she says how she wanted a doll for her daughter to play with that wasn't, you know, a baby doll. And I think the original Barbies were still very pretty. Like, we haven't strayed too far from what the original creation was intended. Just pouncing this in. For concealer, I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Superstay in the shade 10. And then Ken was introduced in 1961 with various outfits. And Ken's name, he doesn't have a middle name. It's just Ken Carson. Or at least in what I've researched, there is no middle name listed for him. Which, I mean, not everybody needs a middle name. I've been debating on when Ian and I get married, getting rid of my middle name. Because, like, but meh. Next, we have Barbie Sings, which came out in 1961, and this Barbie came with a portable phonograph, which I think is so interesting, because, like, when I was a kid, I had a Walkman, which shows my age. It makes me feel so old, but, like, I didn't know they made portable phonographs. I didn't know that was a thing. So I think that that's super cool. And, like, this photo, as you can see, like, that looks so neat. I didn't know that was even an option. I wonder, I should look. If I can find the price, I'll leave the price listed as well. I wonder how much that Barbie cost for that time. So I do use my sponge to pounce out, as you can see, this outer edge concealer, but I do use a brush for under my eyes. I just like how that looks better. And I use this shape of a brush. This is an MOTD 01 brush. I just think it makes it look a little bit nicer. And I bring it all the way down. So next we have Formal Wear Barbie and Ken as a set, and that came out in 1964. They are looking so very dapper. And after that we have Bubble Cut Barbie, which came out in 1965, which was just a new outfit and then the new hairstyle, which I don't personally like this Barbie. I don't think this haircut is flattering in the slightest, but I understand that for the time period, like, this was popular, so, like, they have to, appeal to the masses. I get it. I understand. But, no. So, for cream products, let me grab all of the things. For contour, I'm going to go in with my Fenty Beauty Match Stick in the shade Amber. And then for cream bronzer, Glossier Solar Paint in the shade Flare. Blush, my Natasha Denona Love Cheek Duo. I'm going to use the blush shade. And then for cream highlight, Fenty Beauty Match Stick in the shade Confetti. Just so that all that's out of the way. So next we have Working Barbie. This came out from the 1960s to present day because they're constantly just coming out with more working Barbies. And these careers range from business executive to pilot, astronaut, teacher, singer, you name it, Barbie's done it. Which I think is fantastic. Like, because that was the whole mission behind Barbie, was showing girls that you can do whatever you want to do. Whatever you can put your mind to as a career, you can do it. And I love that. So then after Working Barbie, we got to the original African American Barbie and Ken. And this came out in 1980. Which, honestly, this is earlier than I was thinking that a diverse Barbie would have came out. Because, I don't know. A big company like Mattel doesn't strike me as the type to be diverse, in the beginning at least. So 1980, like, that's pretty early for the very first African American Barbie, and, like, she looks gorgeous. And then after her, we have designer Barbies, which this one surprised the crap out of me. So this was 1989. We had outfits designed by YSL, like the makeup brand YSL designed outfits for Barbie. Why? I don't understand. Was it so, like, the billionaires' kids want for the Barbies? Was it for them? Did they think, like, regular Barbies weren't good enough? Like, is that what? I don't understand this collab. I think it is very interesting, but I don't get it. There'll be another one later that also surprised me that I don't get, but interesting. Then we have College Barbie. This came out in 1990. And came out with many universities like Duke, University of Tennessee, and University of Michigan. Because again, have to show if you want to go to college, go to college. You don't gotta, but if you wanna, do it. My brain went, if you wanna, Fanta. But yeah. College Barbie came with the Barbie uniforms. And if you didn't know, because I did not preface that, we're doing a part 2 Barbie look. I'm going to do a more purple leaning, but still going to be very, very ethereal and colorful. It's going to be pink, but it's going to be more purple leaning than my first Barbie look that I did. Then after College Barbie, we had Astronaut Barbies, and this came out in 1995. So I was 1 year old. I did not have an Astronaut Barbie. No, I did not. And these, from left to right in this photo here, we have 1960 Astronaut Barbie, 1980, 1990, 1960, 1980, 1990. And these are actually on display in the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, which I think is so interesting. Like, it's Barbie. Why? I digress. But Astronaut Barbie. Okay. After that, we had Puerto Rican Barbie. Also, these are what they're named. It's not me. This is what they're called, okay? It's not me trying to be anything. And she came out in 1997. This is when they really started wanting to dive into that diversity and creating the multifaceted Barbies. So I'm going to first just take a puff. This is my Aesthetica loose powder, and I'm just going to powder where we concealed. And then we're going to go into powder products. Bronzer, blush, highlight. So then we have Dentist Barbie. Dentist Barbie came out in 1997. I also did not have Dentist Barbie. I'm just going to go ahead and say I didn't have any fancy Barbies. Just had regular Barbies. I did have a Barbie Dream House, though. Did have that. So that was cool. But I didn't have any of the fancy Barbies with any of the cool, like, sets. Because they were more expensive. And my parents were just not about that life. Even though I was an only child and I was a little spoiled when it came to things like that, I did not have the fancier Barbies that came with all the extra accoutrement. So after Dentist Barbie, we had 40th Anniversary Barbie, which came out in 1999. Which I think I did have this Barbie, but this was, I believe I had this one, and this was one that my parents would not let me open. Because, you know, my mom was one of those, there were certain things, certain toys that like, oh, we have to collect this. Like my mom collected Beanie Babies and McDonald's toys. And like, they'll be worth money someday, kind of thing. So, normally I don't mind that Jeffreestar gloss, but it is not jiving today. Powder products. Benefit Hoola Bronzer, Ciate London Matchmaker Blush, and then I'm going to do Ofra Glazed Donut Highlight, and I'm also going to use the highlight from the Ofra Duo as well. And then we're going to powder the rest of my face. So then, this was something else I didn't know about. Next, we have the Barbie doll stamp that came out in 1999. This was Jill Barrett, if I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize, which was the CEO of Mattel, poses with United States Postal Service advocate Francia Smith, who who's on the right in this photo, and then on the left is actress Millicent Roberts, who played Barbie, with a poster of the stamp. And the stamp was the one that was chosen out of 15 stamps that were, so like the public got to choose one out of the 15 stamps to commemorate the 1960s Barbie, like the making of Barbie, because it was the 40th anniversary. So it was to coincide with the 40th anniversary of Barbie, so the public got to pick a stamp. And this was the winning design, which makes me wonder if my mom had this stamp, because my mom collected stamps. Which also makes me wonder, because my mom passed away, for those of you that don't know. I wonder what happened to my mom's stamp collection, because I don't have that. And I'm sure my dad doesn't, because my dad is not, like, sentimental in any way, shape, or form. So I'm sure that just got lost in the ether, which is unfortunate, because my mom had, like, Looney Tunes stamps and really cool stamps. But I digress. Next, we have President Barbie. This came out in 2000. And this was before Hillary Clinton ran. Barbie campaigned to become the first female doll president. Which I think is cool. We're not going to get into political campaign here in the video, but I think it's nice that, female president. We need one eventually. We will get there, I'm sure. And then we have New Millennium Barbie, which also came out in 2000. And I believe this Barbie is, does it say? I didn't write it down. But I think if you could see her in the photo, it came with the disco ball. Because, the year 2000. But that was cool. And from here on out, now we're going to get into really interesting Barbies, in my opinion. Like, the direction that Mattel went from the year 2000 to present is, I just think, a little more interesting. So I got this in Ipsy, but I personally would have preferred Hoola Light. But it is what it is. So next we have the Elizabeth Taylor Barbie, which also came out in the year 2000. Please let me know in the comments if you know who this is. I know I could Google it, but meh. I don't know who Elizabeth Taylor is. But I know she's an actress. That's all I have listed. Created in the likeness of Elizabeth Taylor, who's an actress, as a collab between Mattel and Taylor's White Diamonds fragrance. So I don't know what she did to make them want to do that. Like, she's pretty. I don't know if maybe just, like, her fragrance was something that they were like, ooh, that's pretty. Like, I don't know. Maybe she played in a Barbie movie? Maybe that's it? I don't know. I probably should have done more research for that part, but I just don't know who she is. And then we have Indian Barbie, and she came out in the 2000s as well. And they've released numerous Indian Barbie editions, as well as part of the Dolls of the World collection. But this has included the Morocco Barbie doll, the Italian Barbie, Kwanzaa Barbie, and Philippines Barbie. So those are all the part of the Dolls of the World collection. So, which I think is awesome. We need Barbie, I will have to say, representation. That's something that Bratz never did. Like, you got Bratz and that was it. Or like, for the kids now, today, it's like the Monster High dolls. They're monsters, so like, they don't really need representation. But you can say that that is something that Barbie does. I am so close to hitting pan in this blush. By the end of this year, I'm digging the blush out regardless because I just don't love it. And I want to keep the highlight because I do like the highlight. So now I'm just going to go in and powder the rest of my face. So now we have Olympics Barbie, which came out in the 2000s. And what's interesting about this is each country that was in the Olympics, their doll was only sold in that country. So, like, the US, only the Olympics US Barbie was sold in the US. Germany's Olympics Barbie was only sold in Germany. So, like, I find that that's super interesting. You would think that, like, they would sell them everywhere so everyone could get everybody's Barbie, but I guess not. Now we have American Sign Language Barbie, which this is one I didn't know was a Barbie, which also came out in the 2000s. Mattel worked with the National Center of Deafness at California State University to ensure accuracy of dolls' hand signs, and this Barbie was exclusive to Toys R Us and online. Oh, rest in peace, Toys R Us. I'm going to do we're going to do setting spray, and this is the Hard Candy Hydrating Mist. It's so close to being gone. And now we have Jewel Girl Barbie, which came out in the 2000s. She came with a flexible waist area, allowing her to bend in any direction, so like a belly dancer. But I assume it might be a little rude to call, would have been rude to call her like a belly dancer Barbie. We're going to do brows next, and I'm just going to use, this is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Cool Ash Brown. And then I have the NYX Brow Glue in the shade Dark Brown. And this combo is just a win, honestly. So I'm gonna pause pop off camera because I can't look at the mirror and do this and also read. So give me just a moment. Alright, for eye primer, we're gonna use the NYX Ultimate Eye Primer in the shade Light. So for the next Barbie, we have Ella Barbie. This came out in 2014. And this was after receiving a petition from a cancer patient's mother. The doll was introduced and distributed directly to cancer patients in hospitals. I'm so close to finishing this. And so this Barbie, the original, as you can see in this photo, she was a bald Barbie because she is a cancer Barbie. So then the Ella Barbie was re-released, also in 2014. And this Barbie came with 2 wigs and headscarves to support the doll. 2 wigs and headscarves. The support for the doll was so vast that Mattel decided to produce more of chemotherapy Barbie doll. And then this one was actually sold to the public. To set my eye primer, I'm going to go in with my shade Bear from my Huda Beauty palette. I'm not going to show it to you because I don't want to spoil it for my Pan That Palette update, but that's the shade we're going to start with. It doesn't leave any color, it's just to set down the primer. Next, we have Zendaya Barbie in 2015. which I didn't know that this was a Barbie that they did. She got her own Barbie after her 2015 Oscar look. At the time, Zendaya was criticized by TV anchor. I apologize if I butcher this name, but her name was Juliana Rancic, who said she looked and smelled like patchouli oil or maybe weed because of her locks, her hair. So this doll was made to support Zendaya. I didn't even know that that happened. I didn't know that that was a thing. So this was the Barbie. The Barbie was beautiful. Yeah, I did not know that that was even something that had happened. But here we are. So next, we're going to be using the Jeffree Star Pink Religion palette. As I always try to say, I got this palette secondhand. I know most people don't support Jeffree Star. I don't either. But I do like his formula, so that's how I get these. I'm going to be focusing more on the lilac-y purples. So I think I'm going to start with the shade Pink Fever right here. So I'm just going to take that same big fluffy blending brush and go into that shade Pink Fever, which is it's more pink than purple, but it's got a purple tinge. Like I said, this look is going to it's going to be pink, but I want it to have a more purpley tinge to the look than the last one that I did. And I'm just really going to blow this out. You guys know, since I don't have a lot of lid space, I take my eyeshadow. We go all the way to the brow. But, anywho. So for the shades I'm going to use, just so that we don't have to go over this, I'm going to probably use the shade Dollhouse Lane, Fashion Faith, and Vatican Valley. And then I'm using singles for shimmers and liner. And then I'll use this shade, which is Princess Crown, for my inner corner. The shade names are in gold and they're so hard to read. So we can just move on. So next, Barbie. We have Barbie Fashionistas, which these came out in 2016. And these Barbies were the most progressive collection that they've had. And they've had different body types, skin tones, eye color, and hairstyles. Which, we love to see that. And that was honestly something I really loved about the movie. I loved that, you name it, it was represented in the movie. There was a plus-size Barbie, no fat jokes were made. There was a Barbie in a wheelchair with disabilities, no jokes were made. It was such an inclusive, good movie. After that, we had Ashley Graham Barbie, which came out in 2016. I also don't know who that is. I know that she's a plus-size model, because that's what's listed. A plus-size model received her own doll after it was debuted at the Glamour Woman of the Year 2016 Live Summit. Oh, I did write down. She's known for her efforts to break down barriers for women without stereotypical model figures. So yeah, there is that. So sorry if you could just hear that bike. I'm also blowing the look out a little bit further than I probably normally do. Next, we have the Misty Copeland Barbie, which was also in 2016. This was produced in hopes of empowering young women across the world. Misty is the first Black principal dancer at the American Ballet Theater. So that is super interesting. I didn't realize that they did, because, obviously, 2016, I was I graduated in 2013, so like I was well into adulthood. I'm not playing with Barbies, so I didn't know about any of these. Next, we're going to move into President and Vice President Barbie, which came out in 2016. Mattel released these 2 weeks after Hillary Clinton became the first female presidential nominee of a major party. So, super interesting. We love that. In 2017, we have a Ken doll redesign. So they debuted 15 new looks for Ken, including hairstyles like man buns and cornrows, body shapes, skin tones, and clothing options, which is awesome because if you watched the movie, Ken felt very underrepresented and left out. So I'm happy he got a redesign. For the lower lash line, I think I'm just going to take a tiny bit of Dollhouse Lane and then Pink Fever. So next we have Barbie 2017. This honored 17 female role models from past and present with a doll of their likeness in time for International Women's Day. Icons included people like artist Frida Kahlo, aviator Amelia Earhart, NASA mathematician Katherine Johnson, Olympic gold medalist snowboarder Chloe Kim, Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins, and boxing champ Nicola Adams. Obviously, there were more than just those, but those were some of the ones that were listed in the timeline article. And then we have Barbie 2018, which is the Shiro collection, Shihiro. Included, I couldn't read my own handwriting for a second, included Australian conservationalist Bindi Irwin, actress and philanthropist Xiao Tong Guan, again, if I butchered that, I apologize, and Italian soccer player Sarah Gamma, along with others, obviously. Boom. So that's going to be it for the matte look. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pop off camera and do all of this for the mattes on this eye, and then we'll move into shimmers. Alright, next, I'm going to do my lower lash line liner, and this is the ColourPop liner in the shade Piggy Bank. And our next Barbie is Barbie Top Gun. This came out in 2021, and this is a female U.S. Navy aviator Barbie doll of character Natasha Phoenix Trace in the movie Top Gun Maverick, which I have not seen. I have never seen the original Top Gun, so I haven't seen this Top Gun either. Does anybody else, when you do your waterline eyeliner, does it make your eye water no matter what? Like, it's not the eyeliner, it's just like putting the eyeliner on makes my eye water for a split second. So next we have Barbie Role Models 2022. These were for International Women's Day 2022, obviously. Mattel introduced a new line of Barbies celebrating female entrepreneurs. I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly. And role models including Shonda Rhimes, Pat McGrath, Lena Manfau, and more. When did they make a Pat McGrath a Barbie? Excuse me? I feel like that should have been beauty news. Like, how did we not know that there was a Pat McGrath Barbie? I feel like that should have been more news than it was. I'm going to do my ColourPop Super Shock in the shade Bay for my outer corner shimmer. For liner, I'm going to use my Profusion Hydro Liner in the shade Taro. I'm going to use the darker purple. I'm going to use my Slayfirecosmetics Persephone Glitter Gel on the lid. And then, like I said, I'm going to use Princess Crown for my inner corner so that we know what we're doing. And then mascara and my NYX black lipstick. And that'll be the whole look, so we can continue. Next, we have Jane Goodall 2022. Honors founder of the Jane Goodall Institute and messenger of peace with a doll made of recycled plastic. And obviously she's joined by her chimpanzee. I almost said Princhansy. Her chimpanzee, David Greybeard, which I didn't know her chimp had a name. I think that's very interesting. So I'm really just tapping this right on the edge of where I placed the dark purple matte. Alright, I need to do that with my pinky. And I got it on my cheek. So hang on, let's try with the pinky and see if that works better. Oh yeah. Pinky's definitely better. And the last Barbie in our timeline here is My First Barbie 2022. This is the first Barbie made specifically for preschoolers. And it's the second from the left in the photo here. Why do I do this? So that was the entire Barbie timeline from the origin of 1959 to present day, because as of right now, they have not come out with anything for 2023, besides the movie, of course. So the last thing we have to do is I need to give my rating. And we actually have something a little more special than just my rating on the movie. So if you have never seen one of my horror talk videos, I usually give a 5-star, like a star rating out of 5. But I went and saw this as a date with Ian, Skylar, and Randy. So I actually got their ratings for this movie as well. So, and I need to get out my stickers because I did not give my stars. So, let me first, I'm going to pause real quick to put my stars on here, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so to use a hydro liner, I just take, you can use water, but I don't honestly think using a setting spray makes it last a little bit longer. So I just give it a good spray once or twice. And I'm just going to coat my brush. in the purple. And I just wanted to show you that first because I can't talk and do eyeliner. So I'm going to do my eyeliner and then we'll come to the review. All right, so eyeliner is done. I'm going to put the glitter gel on. So Skylar had already seen the movie once before we went and all saw it, but her fiance hadn't seen it, and then neither I or Ian had seen it. So I told her we all were giving it a rating out of 10 because we were going off an IMDb rating. But I'm going to give you my rating out of 5, but they're all giving a rating out of 10, just so you can understand. She gave it 100 out of 10. She loved the movie. She said it was absolutely fantastic. She was so happy to get to go see it a second time. Her fiance, Randy, gave it a 4 out of 10. He didn't love it, but he didn't think it was bad. Ian, my fiance, gave it a 1 out of 10. He did not like the movie. Okay, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. One, the representation in the movie was so good. Like, the fact that there was a plus-size actress who wasn't the butt of any jokes, who wasn't being bullied. Like, that made me so happy. Barbie, there's cussing. Like, there's a Barbie that cusses in the movie. That, great. The music that they chose, the numbers, fantastic. The storyline, I thought was really good. Definitely, it's a PG-13 movie, and I think that's a very accurate thing. It's not a kid's movie. It's definitely a teens and up, because it makes you think. It made me cry. Because it definitely made me think about my mom. And movies that make me dig deep and think about my mom. Because it's been 11 years since my mom passed, but things that make me think about her, like, unprompted, still really get me. So, at the end of the movie, I sobbed like a baby. I'm not going to go in with the shade Princess Crown. I'm actually going to go in with the shade Frosting Cult, because I want more of a pink. And then I'm just going to take a brush and just kind of diffuse. So I highly recommend it if you haven't seen the movie and you want to. I think that it is a great movie. I think it is a must-see. I see why it's winning so many, like, it's breaking box office records and things like that. Like, I see why. Because it's definitely doing its job. So that is my whole spiel about the movie. I'm going to pop off for one last time to do mascara, lips, one last little shot of setting spray, and I'm going to come back, show you the finished look, and we'll end the video out. Alright, so this is the finished look. That is how the eyes turned out. I think I really like it. It's still pink, but it's definitely more on the purple side. You can go ahead and take the hair out so it can fulfill the whole fantasy here. There we go. So this was my review for the Barbie movie 2023. Let me know if you saw the movie, if you liked the movie, if you want me to start doing my horror reviews again, because I really enjoyed them, but I know it was a mixed review on here, so, or if you want me to just start reviewing other movies in general, any other comments, questions, concerns, leave them down below, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.